Good evening, Professor and classmates. My name is Has Kpumpka, and today I'm going to show you about my presentation, which is talking about the structure in the conflict management and resolution at the part 2 dimension of the conflict management. My presentation will cover 9 important points uh, to understand more about the structural concern and important for understanding conflict and its resolutions. Before moving to 9 important points, let's understand about the structure. Structure is defined as a framework of identifiable elements like components, entity, factor, member, part, step, etc., which give forms and stability and resist stress and strain. Structure have defined boundary within which each element is physically or functionally connected to the other element, and the element themselves and their interrelationships are taken to be either fixed or changing only occasionally or slowly. And there are 5 points in introduction, which is talking about the structure has been considered as given rather than conditioned to be ratified. The role of conflict management has been oriented toward how to maintain or restore order. Diverse structural concerns need to be understood in the examination of the overall condition of the group behavior and social processes relevant to maintaining tension and animosity. Like some countries such as the Kenya, Nigeria, and Hindu Muslim violence was caused by ethnic rivalry and resistance against the hegemony created by state institutions. And the structure concerns are important for understanding conflicts and its resolution, like antagonistic relationship in Burma and Pakistan, Sudan, and other democratic countries. Conflict need to be taken at the source by any adequate understanding of how human behavior is related to social and political process. And now let's move to ninth main point, which is about the structural condition for conflict resolution. Even though each conflict may develop its own dynamics over a long period of time, the manifestations and resolution of conflicts are embedded in certain structural conditions which inhabit new political arguments, ethics, demand for autonomy and political representation, equality. One group desire to control of the other group for their own interest and deny other group right to autonomy and political independence. And the motive of nomination is come from not only territorial expansion but also economic advantages over the scarcity of the sources. The demand for same resources would result in contentious politics, creating feelings of inequality and disparity. Conflict relationships are formed and cemented in a wider political, economic, and socio-cultural environment. And the system change and adjustment, it refers of the lack of change lead to system rigidifications. Self-rule for minority group has been recognized as a principle to govern intergroup relations since World War I. Structural change is needed for the constructive accommodations of the conflicts. Systemic change beyond perceptual modification often focus on the restructuring of social institutions as well as the redistribution of power, the correction of inequities and injustice, along with social and political adjustment, is necessary to provide all groups with their vital human needs. System is never-ending, open process beyond specific agreement to end a dispute. Management of conflict in various social settings is referring to the strategy to manage conflicts are based on the established rules and institutional processes such as the amendments and other assisted communication that lead to the exposure of government abuse of the power. Institutionalized approach to mediation have also been proven effective to bring social harmony and empower the urban poor. Social structure create mechanisms that help control or channel conflict through normative regulation. Argument and disputes are inherent in any type of relationship, either traditional or modern. They can be resolved by elder and religious leaders who have good insight, wisdom, and intuitions. And the functionalist perspectives refer to the each action is reviewed as the consequence of the conflict interworking relationships. The operation of whole school system can be reducible to activity output and sense priority. In order to constitute a persistent order, the system must perform certain function. For instance, the economy should generate enough income for majority of people in society to meet their basic daily necessity. For the system maintenance functions, the adaptations or adjustment of given system can be accompanied by involving functions of the component. Dysfunction of any crucial system component lessen the whole system ability for adaptation. It is based on interrelated elements of the system. In functional perspective, conflicts are not considered dysfunctional as long as they serve the maintenance of the social structure. Political instability and conflicts. Political system arbitrate jurisdictional dispute between disharmonious elements of the society. In some political systems, there is no well-developed peaceful system to regulate the crisis between possible winner and loser, such as the 2008 military coup in Guinea and Mauritania. And the boundary between states and ethnic identity, it refers to each state has different lines of ethnicity, class, religions, and language demarcations. Structural sources of conflict in multi-ethnic society can be attributed to incomparable system boundary between state and ethnic grouping caused by different religion, language, custom, and income level. Cultural boundaries have often been ignored in creation of the modern state, like the collapse of Australian Hungarian empires and Ottoman Turkey after World War One. Networks also important for the external and internal boundaries of cross-border networks are connected through ethnic, political, or economic links. Opposing network structure stimulates competition among armed groups mobilized by diverse motivations ranging from political grievance to economic interests. Network structures are a shared common purpose rule of conduct, self-organizing, response to constituents' needs and capacities building. And the last nine important here is refer to the field theory and conflict. The concept of field illustrates a mutual influence of social units reducible to an individual organizing rule, goal, reward, and sanction. Society is considered as the field of the tension, conflict, and power struggle between different social rules and segments. Field theory can illustrate power and rule differentials which have an impact on the formal of each party, goal, motive, and attitude. In competition for power and status, a variety of pulling and pushing force eventually have to be balanced with the creation of different rules representing a new status quo. And before ending this presentation, I also have the two questions for discussion at this chapter. It referring to what are the characteristics of the structure of conflict management and give the three examples of structural conflict. That is all about my presentation today. Thank you for your attendance.